Hi there, this is Ruth Ruttan from Retrofit Pilates. I'm a Master Instructor here and I'm also the Education Coordinator. Today we're talking about hip flexion. So if you've been joining us over the last little while, we've been talking a lot about hip extension, which is moving your thigh bone back in space using the glutes and your hamstrings as the primary movers for that. And we'll call them collaborators or synergists. You can't have hip extension without hip flexion. So hip flexion means exactly what I'm doing right now. My hip is in a flex position, or the thigh bone is forward in space of my torso. This is a very functional thing that we need to be able to do in order to walk, sit down, any number of things. So today we're going to look at how to do that just simply in a 4-point kneeling position. I'm going to use the reformer for this. So taking our client onto hands and knees, or taking yourself into hands and knees, and going for a really nice long spine. We can simply slide the leg forward and slide the leg back. You can do a full leg extension if that's available to you. Move the leg forward, and then you can fire into those glutes and hamstrings just like we did in the previous videos about hip extension. But just understanding how to move the leg free of the torso. So to add some challenge into this, we're going to move forward on the reformer so that my thighs come up into contact with the shoulder rests and my hands come onto the frame. I'm still going for a nice long spine here. In fact, my tail feathers are just a little bit lifted. And I'm going to try and pull the carriage forward without moving from my arms. So I'm pulling against just a blue spring, and I'm almost thinking of my bum sliding backwards in space in order to create that flexion or increased angle at the hip. So here, ideally, I'm feeling the abdominals coordinate with my hip muscles in order to pull my thighs forward of my hip bone, or of my, my hip bones of my pelvis. Most of us will want to do a form of pulling and moving from the arms, which is actually lat work, rather than moving from the hips. Or we might want to move our spine rather than creating that nice strong connection to the hip flexors. So those are just a few tips to help you disassociate the movement of torso from the movement of the legs, and trying to figure out how to accent or really work for some hip strengthening at the front of the hip with flexion.